Welcome to Comfort Zone, a podcast all about pushing your hosts, well, outside of their comfort zone. I'm Christopher Lawley, and each week I am joined by two incredible co-hosts, and this week, one of us is Bananza. As always, I am joined by Matt Birchler. Matt, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. I wasn't expecting Bananza immediately at the start of this.
One of us will get into why we're Bananza, but we're also joined by Niléane. Niléane, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine. And that's it. No Bananza, I don't know.
You're not Bananza?
No, yeah, just fine.
We have a whole host of tiny topics, so I'm just going to throw it over to Niléane, because I think you have a review for us from something from last week.
Exactly. So last week, the challenge was a new type of challenge. You had to recommend an accessory and convince me to buy it. And Matt won with a MagSafe fan that you plug onto the back of your iPhone. And here it is.
It's perfect.
It got here. It's a MagSafe fan, all right. And you remember I was mocking this last week because the listing made some huge claims like extreme cooling.
I believe it said instant cooling or something like that.
Maybe, yeah. But I remember extreme cooling being the one that stood out to me. And you know what? This thing actually works.
Yes.
That was extremely surprising. So the back of it gets incredibly cold. I was about to say hot, but no, extremely cold to the touch when you plug it in for a few minutes. And so you put it on the back of your iPhone, and it's summer right now, so it's very easy for my iPhone on beta 3 of iOS 26 to get really hot.
Yes.
So I've had plenty of opportunities to test it, and yes, it works. It like when I take it off, I touch the back of it. It's like I have a hard time touching it. Actually, it's really, really cold. I've tried even like putting it on my face to see how can I withstand it. I can't really, because it's that cold. And yeah, it gets the iPhone really, 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 really cool. In terms of powering it, so it comes with a USB-C cable. Which you can plug in however you want. I've tried plugging it in directly into the iPhone. It's like you have the fan on the back, cable running down and over to the iPhone itself. And it works, but iOS is not happy about it. Like iOS is like, what kind of device is this?
You probably need a better high quality cable.
I don't know. Specifically, iOS said had a pop-up on me that said the iPhone doesn't have enough power to power the fan. But it did work just fine. So I don't know, maybe iOS is misunderstanding what this is. But it actually works.
That's so good. I'm so happy about that.
It works as kind of like a heat sink of some kind, but because when you touch, so it has some vertical fins on the side here. I'm showing it to the camera right now, and those are really hot.
Okay.
Okay, yeah.
When it's running, the bottom of it, which touches the iPhone, is really cold, and those fins on the side are really hot. So like it's working really well to like expel the heat out of those things somehow.
This makes me so happy.
So that's actually really good.
So I'm kind of curious about you guys. Have you guys ever tried the trick of like, okay, you got a can of soda, but it's warm and you need it to be instantly cold?
Oh, yeah.
So what you do is you take an old computer heat sink, and a rubber band, you put it around the soda, and you put it in the fridge, and it's supposed to make it like instantly cold.
No.
Like 15 minutes and it's cold.
Wow. No, I've never tried that.
Physics. Okay.
I was going to ask if you guys have done the thing, and it feels like so stupid to do it, but like if my phone, because I'm in beta season as well, if I put my phone, especially with the case off, if you just put it face down on a surface and then put a can of soda on top of it, like a cold can, that cools it down like nothing. It does a great job. But you're using your $1,000 phone as a coaster, which feels strange. But it's waterproof. It'll be fine.
My trick is for French people out here, and
we're not allowed to do this, Matt.
Yes, I mean you are allowed, but you won't be able to, because
Okay.
what I'm saying is, in the when you're running, you're riding the train in France. Is most trains here in the summer, so they have AC inside, and the AC vents are under the windows. So on either sides of the cabin, there's the window, and the vents are just under the window. So when it's right beside your armrest when you're sitting in the train. So what I do in the summer is I always put my phone down, screen down, on top of the AC vent. It's right there on my armrest, and it cools it down. So there you go. Anyway, so moving on, I have a series of stuff that I've been wanting to mention for weeks, and I keep postponing them. So I'm going to rapid fire through them. All right.
Should we put like 3 minutes on the clock for you to like rapid fire through them?
Please no.
Oh,
Please no.
okay.
Yeah. No.
Okay.
But all right. So I was in Geneva last week. And so that one I've not been postponing since. That was just last week. I was in Geneva, Switzerland last week, and I noticed that their approach to ticketing in public transit was really interesting. It was a really relaxed approach. So the funny thing about Geneva is, so there are trams and there are trains and there are boats. Geneva is around Lake Léman, on both sides of Lake Léman on the western end, and you have boat lines that you can use to cross the lake onto either side of the city. And those boat lines are included in the public transit network. That's really nice. So if you have a public transit ticket or whatever, you can use that for the tram as well as the boat, which is really nice when you're a tourist because you can get on a boat for really cheap. But you can get on a boat for really, really cheap. I'm not encouraging anyone to do this, but if you don't buy a ticket and get on one of those boats, it's completely free. Like no one will check. There is no, there's no controls. Whatever. That seemed pretty mind-boggling to me. So much so that I was on the boat and there were a few young guys hanging about, and one of the young guys was telling one of the other young guys, "Don't worry about it. Don't get a ticket." But the other one was really stressed about it. He really wanted to get a ticket because he wants to be honest. So he went over to the ticket machine, got a ticket, and tried to get the ticket, but the machine wasn't working. So then he asked the boat driver when the boat came along, and the driver was like, "Hey, don't worry about it. Just get on the boat. I have a schedule to keep on." So that was interesting. I wanted to mention this because if there are Swiss folks listening to us, and I want to know more about what's going on with the tickets in Geneva. Do really people pay this public transit? Not that I'm encouraging anyone to skip the ticketing. But I came back to France and I read the news. I'm going to tie all those topics together. So I came back to France and I read the tech news in my non-RSS feed. I don't use an RSS feed anymore. And I saw that YouTube Premium Lite was about to launch in France. And as of right now, it's still not launching. Like Google announced it, but if you go to the page right now, it says it's rolling out soon. To come back. So anyway, so Premium Lite is running out to France, and I'm wondering, is that worth it for me? Because I've been using YouTube Premium, and my understanding of this is YouTube Premium Lite, it blocks most ads. They say. Basically, the exception is music videos.
Oh, is that the
So
exception?
that's the exception. So
Okay.
there's a table on the site where it compares the two offers, and basically it's just most videos is one line, another line is music videos, and on Premium Lite that's unchecked. Music videos, and you also can't download offline, download videos offline.
That actually sounds perfect for me.
Yeah, so I'm wondering, should I get on that? It's quite a lot cheaper.
Yeah, as long as you don't watch a bunch of music videos, it sounds like it'd be worth it.
I actually never watch music videos.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, this is
Same.
great. I was always scared off of YouTube Lite by the most videos wording. I was like, what do you mean most videos?
Yeah.
So if it's music videos, that's fine for me too. But
That's what I understand. Maybe there's a trick I'm not getting. But speaking of ads, switch. Moving on to my third item. There's this controversy that's been going on for a year, which is that Chromium browsers and Google Chrome mainly is going to move on from Manifest v2 extensions to fully adopt Manifest v3 extension. Basically, this means this is a new standard for browser extensions, and it's more limiting for extensions such as ad blocking extensions. This is the controversy. So like Google are doing this to limit ad blocking, and they probably are. But this has been enforced for over the past few days and weeks. People using Chrome have updated Chrome, and they noticed uBlock Origin, which is a very popular ad blocking extension for Google Chrome and other browsers. uBlock Origin is now disabled in Google Chrome. If you had it installed already, it will have a warning saying, "Yeah, this has been disabled because it's using an extension standard that's deprecated now." However, the developer behind Raymond Hill, he released a new version of uBlock Origin, which is called uBlock Origin Lite, which is fully compliant with Manifest v3. So what I've done is I've tried to live with this new version of the extension that works with Google Chrome today, and will work for the foreseeable years. And I don't see any difference, guys. So I don't. It's still as efficient. And as effective, I should say. It has less options, so you can't create such certain types of custom rules. But it still has so many lists available, blocking lists available. And one big thing is that you can't disable ad blocking per site with this new extension.
oh, that's weird.
That's annoying.
Weird. It's a limitation of the standard of Manifest v3 apparently, because like my understanding of it is that Manifest v3 extension, they don't have that kind of control. It's at the browser level, just like in Safari. Like Safari, you can say in Safari, disable blockers on this web page specifically. So it's at the browser level that you can disable certain websites. And I think Chrome and Chromium browsers don't have that. Like they don't allow you to disable extensions for certain websites. So and the extension itself is no longer able to do that. So Google is doing something weird there. Like they obviously they want to fight ad blocking, and yet now the only way to block ads is to do it on all websites with no exceptions. So, what is going on here? But I just wanted to report back on this to say, don't panic. Like if you used your uBlock Origin and just move on to uBlock Origin Lite, it just works. Don't worry about it. Yeah, but speaking of extensions, after about a year on Apple Passwords, and I'm moving back to 1Password. I had moved to Apple Passwords last year when it became its own app, its own standalone app, and it's been working great. But the reason why it was working great is because I'm a Safari user, and as you know, last week I talked about Arc browser and also trying out different browsers on my Mac. And yikes, it's not great using Apple Passwords with those other browsers. So Apple makes extensions for those other browsers. There's one in the Chrome Web Store for Google Chrome and Chromium browsers. There's one in the Firefox add-ons, whatever it's called. So you can get those, and it works, but it's so janky. It asks for Touch ID on every single interaction. It asks for Touch ID. It's incredibly frustrating. You can't tell it, don't ask for the next hour, don't ask for the next 24 hours. No. Got a touch ID every single time. It's so annoying.
Yep. And if you're in clamshell mode like I am, it's key in your long secure password every single time. It's horrible. And even if that all was exactly how it is and the UI was great, it would still be horrible. But the UI is also like the worst I've ever seen in any extension.
Yes, I kind of agree. Yeah,
it's atrocious. It is hilariously bad.
I have a tip for you guys that you all should absolutely do. Note this is complete sarcasm. Do not do this. You should absolutely do this. Seriously, this is sarcasm. Don't do this.
Oh no,
just set up a text expander or a keyboard maestro or something like that.
Oh my God.
That has your really long secure password.
Yep.
And then you can just like maybe key it to like just typing the word password or like
God.
Command P or hyperkey P or something like that. And then it'll just autofill your really long secure password. Seriously, that's sarcasm. Do not do that. But yeah, just do that, guys. It'll that solves your problem right there.
Chris, you joke, but on my work computer,
Oh God.
I sign into some developer accounts, like they're like locally on my machine. They're like intentionally insecure with like password 1 2 3 is like the password.
Oh yeah.
But I have super key 1 2 3 4 and 5 set up to like type in the username tab, type in the password, hit return, and it just logs me into those sites.
Okay, I know what you're talking about. I've definitely done something similar for like these. It's like these very local VMs that like aren't even, they're air gap. They're not even connected to the internet. They're specifically for development. Yes, I do know. Yeah, I've kind of done something similar. Yeah, but don't do that.
Don't do that for real.
Don't do it for real. Don't do it. If it
Just
touches the internet,
just do it.
Do not do that.
Yeah.
If it ever touches the internet, do not do that.
So yeah, I'm back to 1Password. My account was still there. But funny thing is, I noticed something I did not really realize before. 1Password, they have different domains. Like you can go to 1password.com, but they also have 1password.ca and 1password.eu and others. And I was wondering, like, why is that different? Like, and even when you log into the extension, they ask, where is your account? Is it on 1password.com? Is it on 1password.eu? And the reason is those databases are completely separate. Like they have servers in the EU, servers in Canada, in the US. And my previous account was on the US thing, on .com. So I was like, hey, do I want my passwords in the US right now? So I might as well just migrate. So I deleted my original 1Password account, opened a new one on 1password.eu, and I mean, it's great. 1Password is really good.
Nice.
And there you go. I'm done with my items.
3 minutes on the dot.
Yes, exactly 3 minutes, as we timed it, as I agreed.
All right. Well, I want you guys to put a 3-minute timer on my tiny topic at the very most. Okay. Like I hinted at the very beginning of the show, I am full on Bananza for Donkey Kong Bonanza. This game is fantastic. Literally, it's just my recommendation. If you have a Switch 2, go get this game. If you're like on the fence, I don't know, I'm not a big Donkey Kong fan. Doesn't matter. It's super fun. Like, honestly, I've not played very many Donkey Kong games. I've never played a Donkey Kong Country game. I think the only Donkey Kong games I've ever played was the original one, where like it's Jumpman kind of thing, and Donkey Kong 64. Oh, and Diddy Kong Racing on the Nintendo 64. Like, that's it. I've never been a huge Donkey Kong person. Like, it's never really appealed to me. Donkey Kong Bonanza is amazing. I won't spoil it, but the story is really good, or where I'm at so far in the story is really good. And one of the whole things that you collect is these gym bananas, and every time you get one of them, it says, "Oh, banana." And I've been saying that all weekend long to the point where I've driven Danielle insane. Oh, banana. And I am obsessed with collecting bananas now. Seriously, if you have a Switch 2 or planning on getting a Switch 2, get Donkey Kong Bonanza. This is the game. It's so much fun. I haven't had this much fun with the game in a while. You could destroy just about everything. It's great.
I can't wait to play this.
Yeah. Sounds fun living with you, Chris.
Oh, banana.
Wow.
All right, let's get into the main show. Matt, you're first up in the document. What do you got for us this week?
So this week I am bringing a comeback.
Ooh.
So I am repeating a topic. I've been known to repeat challenges on account of my short memory, but this time I'm repeating a topic, but intentionally. And this is what I talked about on episode 2. So 57
boy.
long episodes ago, I talked about perplexity. If we rewind the clock and go back to my initial review, I didn't like it. I did not like it much at all.
I remember.
I don't like the
yeah.
CEO.
I don't know anything about the CEO, but I've heard other people say something like that.
So he made a comment the other day about people should no longer need to watch YouTube videos. They can just talk to Perplexity. And I'm just like, you are a moron. If people stop watching YouTube videos, people will stop making YouTube videos. There goes the data you're stealing. And I am personally rubbed by Perplexity. I'm sorry, I'm hijacking your topic. I am personally rubbed the very wrong way by Perplexity because not only are they stealing data, but they're openly doing it and they have no quorums about it. Like, they openly will ignore the robot.txt files and stuff like that. I really dislike Perplexity. Sorry, Matt, go on ahead.
That's okay. So I really like perplexity. So I, recognizing all those things, I've been using Perplexity for a few weeks now, again. And I think this is actually spurred a couple weeks ago, Chris, when you were talking about how you moved to ChatGPT for your search instead of Google. And I was like, you know who said they've been doing that for a while? It's Perplexity. Let's try them again. And I have been using them, and I switched out on the action button on my iPhone. It now goes to Perplexity instead of Gemini like I had it set up before. It's gotten better since the last time I used it. And I think it does that by, one of the things I didn't like last time is because it's a search engine first, like you just type in a search. And before this was also like a year and a half ago, so everything was slower. LLMs were slower than they are today. And so it would do just a full thing. Like, it would do a Google search in the background. It would parse the things. It would do the data. It took like 20 seconds for me to get a response. And Google, it was like half a second. Now they have this kind of like hybrid thing. So if it's just clearly a search you're doing, like I just did search for Donkey Kong Bananza, it shows the first 5 results. And then below it, it'll do like the more extended answer for something.
Oh, okay.
So you don't have to wait like you used to. So that's good. The other thing is it's very clear on citing sources, which is good because especially when I'm asking it the sorts of things I do, I'll get into the sorts of things I ask it, but it's always good to be able to see where it's getting this information, right? You shouldn't trust an LLM as like a source of truth. It should be a first step, I would say, and then you confirm the things that you need to confirm. Just as a side note, anytime someone sends a screenshot of ChatGPT as like their source for why something is true on social media, it drives me crazy. It's so crazy.
You need to click the links, people.
Yes.
There's a second step when using these.
Yeah, it's wild. So anyway, so I'm using it as a search engine, and it's working pretty good there. I think they do similar to what Kaggy does and DuckDuckGo does, where it's a combination of Google and all these other search engines. But it works good. It's fast. They've also added research modes and what are they called? Not a report. It's they call it labs.
Oh yeah.
So you can search for something. You can do deep research, so like all the others do, where you can give it like a topic and it'll go deep and find like 200 sources for you and parse them and turn them into a report. And then there's labs, which is kind of like deep research, but will make graphs and stuff for you, which can be good, but I don't understand how that's different. But I do like this. I do like this general concept. Like when I need to learn about a new topic, especially like at work, I need to learn about a new thing that we're working on. I find these deep research things to be very, very helpful at finding me things to read about the thing and to give me an overview at a high level. So I think they're really good for that, and I think Perplexity is pretty good at this. But the thing that I really love, or that it really got me to pull the trigger a couple weeks ago, is their new web browser, which is called Comet.
Oh, I've heard of this.
Yeah, I think Federico is using it too, giving it a go. And Comet is, a couple weeks ago, I talked about Dia and how I was like, this is trying to be an AI browser and it's just a Chrome skin with fewer features, I feel like. This is, if I can make a terrible pun about Nintendo again, Comet does what Dia don't. Oh no, that didn't work. Sega does what Nintendo don't. Does anybody remember that marketing campaign from Sega?
Oh, yeah, I do, yeah.
Yeah. Anyway,
Didn't work out well for them.
that didn't work out for me either. So,
were you a Dreamcast kid?
no, I wasn't. I was a Nintendo kid all the way.
You know what my first console was? So, first console in the house was the original Nintendo, but my first console, Sega Genesis. No, I'm sorry, not Genesis. Sega Saturn. That was my first cat.
Oh, man.
Talk about killing Sega. Anyways, please continue.
So Comet is, they call it an AI browser, and it does everything that Dia does and more. So it does the thing where you can chat with your tabs and you can reference your history and all that stuff, and you can do whatever. I don't care about any of that. I still have yet to find a use case for that. But what is cool is it has an agent mode where you open up the like assistant sidebar thing, and it does a really good job with email. And I was just like on my inbox and I said like, find all of the, because I'm on summer break, I'm not taking any YouTube offers right now. So I was like, find any offers for promotions or something like that, and just immediately archive them. And what it does is it goes through the UI, clicks on like the selectors, archives them, it does the things for me, which is very cool. It's very slow. Like it would be probably quicker for me to do it in some cases, but like when I have like 200 messages in my inbox and I can just tell to like go do this, and then I go off and do the rest of my work while it's working, that's very, very cool. So this is kind of what the Rabbit R1 was promising doing.
Yeah, I was thinking of that.
So it's wild. I used it on my test Letterboxd account. I have a test Letterboxd account I use to do things for my quick reviews project, because I used my real account for a while and people noticed and they were very confused. So I have a test account on Letterboxd where I just review random movies so I can get data into my app. And I just went to letterboxd.com and said, go find this movie and leave a 4-star review with this as the review. And it went and did it. Like it was wild. Every once in a while it gets confused. It doesn't always work. It doesn't work on every website. I listened to an interview with the Perplexity CEO. This might have been actually the same interview that you're thinking of, Chris. It was on Decoder last week. And he talked about like, if you're on Twitter, you could like just see a tweet and then you could have it compose a quippy quote post for it and just have it post for you, and you just have to hit the post button. I'm like, that's a terrible use case.
Horrible. That's what we need. More just crap piled on top of crap.
So I think, cringy. I totally get it. But like, it's been very, very cool. I think this would be a lot better if it could all run locally. This is obviously like a privacy thing you probably don't want to necessarily mess with, because it is sending screenshots of the UI up to the server and finding the thing and clicking on it like on your local computer. It's a whole thing. But like this, while Dia made me feel nothing but disappointment and delight actually in their UI. The UI is actually great, and they added side tabs and stuff, but like it doesn't do anything special. This one feels more like, oh, this is a new type of browser feature than we didn't have before. And so I think it's pretty cool. I don't think I'm going to keep up with it forever. It doesn't have side tabs for one thing, but it's very cool and kind of a peek at something different, which I haven't seen in anything since side tabs, I think. I don't know. Are you guys at all interested in this? It feels like you're not.
No.
Nothing. The Perplexity is like the one company, like I'm just so turned off by their CEO that like they could cure cancer And I would just be like, no, I
I'd
don't.
rather
I don't
die.
believe it. I don't believe it. I'm good. I'd rather die. That was dark.
Wow.
That was really dark. But you get where I'm going.
Episode title is going to be "I'm full on Bananza," but now it's "I'd rather die."
That was really dark, but I think you guys get what I'm trying to say.
No, I get what you're
I'm
saying.
just so turned off by that company that I'm not thrilled by a lot of the AI stuff that's happening, especially a lot of the generative stuff. And yes, I know I talked last week, I'm using ChatGPT, or maybe it was 2 weeks ago, whatever. And they're doing a lot of generative stuff, and I'm not thrilled about it, but I'm also not going to stick my head in the sand when new technology is clearly this is clearly going to be a part of the future. I don't think LLMs and AI are going to take over the world. I don't think they're the next smartphone, but I do think it's clearly going to be a part of the next thing, and I'm not going to stick my head in the sand and try and avoid it. But I'm also, when there's somebody so repugnant, it would just be like using Twitter again. I mean, it's the same thing. I don't like the person that owns Twitter now.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Let me rephrase. So in 1994, Toy Story was the first animated, 100% computer animated feature film. It was rendered on enormous server farms that probably used a butt ton of energy. Sorry, Editor Chris. And then now I can play Cyberpunk 2077 on my laptop, and that runs in real time at 100 frames a second on a mobile chip. It's insane how much what used to be cutting edge is now just in a laptop or in your phone. All the stuff it's doing on the server now, presumably we'll be able to do locally. So if this was made by Apple or some company that you would trust, runs locally, but is able to kind of automate things like managing your inbox, helping you with wording stuff. Would this concept be interesting if it wasn't Perplexity and it wasn't online?
Absolutely. I mean, that's kind of what Sky is doing. The old workflow shortcuts people. That's kind of what they're working on, and I'm very, very interested in that, and very bummed something like this isn't going to come to the iPad unless Apple makes it. I'm absolutely interested in let me, especially for the use case that you pointed out. I get a ton of email. Go through and find all the emails that are people wanting to sponsor me. Don't archive those because I would like to pay my bills.
Yeah, we have different priorities on YouTube.
we do have different priorities. I would like to be able to pay my bills. This is my full-time job. But yes, no, this is absolutely something any other company. I'd be very interested in this kind of thing.
Nice.
Are you interested in it?
I'm not
Niléane?
interested.
No, okay.
Not at all. No.
Why not? You wouldn't want something to help you with your inbox or anything like that?
I want to do that myself.
Okay.
No. Even if I try to find a use case where I'd be like, yeah, I'd use it. I think no. There's nothing comes to mind.
Yeah, I mean, I get that. I think so. There's this meme of that gets I see it trending on social media every couple months. I feel of someone will say instead of automating the work or whatever, we're using AI to automate the art or whatever. So we're using it to create images, we're using it to create words instead of actually using it to automate the things that are stupid. There are so many things where we can automate things that are stupid, and so I think I keep finding those things, and I think those are kind of cool. But yeah, I think it's pretty. It's a very cool proof of concept. I don't think you would use this in its current form. This won't be super mainstream or anything, but it's giving me a taste of something that's very cool, I think. So that's it. I've done I think Perplexity, the app, not the CEO, is pretty decent. So yeah, I don't know if I'm going to keep going with it. It's $20 a month, which is expensive. So I'm going to see if I can get by on the free tier. And if I can't, I'll just go back to Google like I always do.
See, why would I pay for something I don't even have an idea what I would use it for?
Well, you probably wouldn't then.
Yeah. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
I'm using ChatGPT sometimes for stuff, and I'm using the free version, and even when I'm using the free version, I never trust it. And it's dumb, and it's probably my fault. I don't think it's my fault, but I'm saying this. I'm just saying it. But I end up spending more time on things just because I end up double checking everything that I do with it, if that makes sense. So if I use it for, I don't know, I have a CSS project called Tangerine UI, for example. I've been trying to use this with it, and time wasting. It's just time wasting for me.
All right. Well, that's
All
it for
right.
me.
All right. Well, Niléane, what do you got for us this week?
I have fun little thing. Okay, so I'm on vacation. This half time on vacation. I don't know what to say. So right now I'm recording with you guys, but most of the time this month I'm traveling and doing stuff, which means I cannot use Ivory. And why can I not use Ivory for Mastodon? Because Ivory, the UX of that app is read every single post in your timeline, and my mind is somewhere else. I can't keep up. Right now I come back from a full day somewhere, open Ivory, and the badge at the top that tells you how many unread posts there are in your timeline, it's in the thousands. Like, and it's because I follow a ton of people as well. Don't deny that I follow about 600 something people on Mastodon, and I'm very picky about my followings. Like I unfollow inactive accounts regularly, and so those 600 and so accounts are all active. So yeah, it can amount to a lot at some point. So I started looking for something else, and I was reminded of an app called Phanpy, which I always pronounce in my head Phanpy, but it's actually Phanpy. So it's spelled Phanpy, and the website is phanpy.social. And so it's a web app, completely web app. It's free and it's open source. And it's made by one guy. He's really nice. And it's a full-on Mastodon client. So you can add that to your home screen on your iPhone as a progressive web app. And it will work. It supports push notifications for just one account at a time, unfortunately, right now. But otherwise, yeah, it supports push notifications. I have it as a pinned tab in Arc on my Mac, and it's really good. So very snap. The UI in general, well done. Like I really enjoy the UI. It's very clean. Doesn't get in your face. Like it's not flashy or anything. It's just very clean, single column. You can configure it to have multiple columns if you are nostalgic of TweetDeck. So you can have multiple columns. I like to use it with just one column. My timeline. You can customize the menu at the top that shows at the top on desktop or at the bottom on the iPhone. So you can just like in Ivory actually. So you can customize the order of the buttons. So right now I have home, notifications, at mentions, and I believe just search, and that's it. And it's not a kind of UI that pushes you to read everything. So that was perfect. And the way it presents the timeline, I think it's a game changer. Actually, I really encourage you to try it out. So it's still fully chronological, right? There's no sorting, no for you, whatever. It's still chronological, but it helps you catch up on your timeline quickly because it presents everything in context. And that's the game changer. For example, if there's somebody you follow replied to something, in Ivory, you would just see the reply, and you would have to tap on the post to see the thread that it's replying to. In Phanpy, the reply shows up with just an excerpt of the conversation above, directly in your timeline. So you have a preview of what's that conversation about, actually. Saves you a click, saves you a view, and actually, if those people that they are replying to are people that you follow, you've actually caught up on multiple posts at once. That maybe those posts that they were replying to, those are 12 hours old, but you didn't have to scroll 12 hours down in your timeline to see it. See? So just presenting things in context really helps catching up on your timeline. Second thing that it does is it has something called a boosts carousel. So by default, in your timeline, boosts are grouped together every so often. So boosts are the equivalent of a retweet, by the way, or a repost. So in Phanpy, they are just grouped together every once in a while. So you just scroll down a bit, you just see original posts and replies, and then boom, a boost carousel, which lets you, it's a horizontal carousel, and lets you catch up on things that your followings have been boosting. So it helps clean up your timeline vertically. You have to scroll less because the boosts are all grouped together. So you have to scroll less to catch up on your timeline and further back in time. That's really nice. Another thing is the way that it presents the trending page. There's nothing super particular about it, but it's just really well designed. So it has let me try to describe it for you if you want to picture it in your head. When you go into the trending tab, yeah, at the top you have big cards that show you trending stories, so trending links that people have been sharing. You can click on each to see the posts in which they have been shared, those links. And underneath, you can see trending posts as usual. And there's also a carousel of trending hashtags, I believe, right at the top. So that's really, it's all grouped together. It's not separate. Like in Ivory, for example, those are sub tabs. The stories, the hashtags, the posts, you have to switch between tabs, as well as on the native, like the vanilla Mastodon web app, the regular Mastodon web app. Those are sub tabs. Otherwise, yeah, it's just really nice touches all across the board. The composer, so where you compose new posts, is really well done as well. I don't think it's in terms of design, I think it's the least um, polished, maybe, but it works really well. So you can have drafts. Only, I believe, one draft at a time, which is plenty enough for me. So, for example, if you start composing a post and then you close the app, and even if it quits in the background, you open back Phanpy and it tells you, hey, you have something that you were composing. Do you want to resume? So you can do that. That's really nice. Um, and I've covered pretty much all of it. I think it's changed a lot how I browse Mastodon, especially on the Mac, because on the Mac I usually had an Ivory window somewhere on my display, sometime minimized, sometime on the side of my browser. But now sits in its own tab in the browser. I go back to it less often, and it's still open. So if I have a push notification, I can just click on it and it opens right away in the pin tab. Um, a less toxic relationship, I think, to my timeline has been acquired through this. So there you go. Do you have questions about Phanpy? I think you should try it, guys. And also, yeah, sorry. And the first question is, are you turned off by the fact that it's a web app?
No. In fact, it's a plus.
I am definitely going to give it a shot. I have had some issues with PWA. You and I were talking before we started recording about our issues with PWAs during the beta period. So I'm gonna give it a shot, and we'll see how that all works out. But yeah, I like the sound of this. I have become less and less reliant on social media timelines, just in general, whether it's Mastodon or Blue Sky or whatever flavor of text timeline it is this week. I've become less and less reliant on those. There are days I go without checking them. There are days I go without completing the timeline, which back in the Twitter days, there was never a day I didn't complete my timeline. Um, I don't know what has shifted for me, but I am much more interested in RSS and blog posts than I am short micro blog post timeline Twitter-esque kind of things. So something that is a little less toxic, something that I can go through the important bits. Very nice. Matt talked last week about his app.
Besto Masto.
Thank you. I was totally blanking on the name. I have been using that quite a bit, just to kind of like check in and see like if I missed anything big that day, and that's been perfect for me. So this is one of those kind of things I will absolutely check out.
Nice. Yeah. I am a Phanpy user from way back. I love Phanpy. Actually, Niléane, you don't know this necessarily, but you are the reason I stopped using Phanpy originally. And it was when you released Tangerine UI because it made the regular Mastodon just look great. So I switched to that. But Phanpy, yeah, is totally cool. It's totally nice. I used it for a while as a PWA on my iPhone, but I really, really like it on the Mac because on the Mac, I agree with you. I think social media in the web browser is so much better. Like, I don't like that I love the theory of like I'll have my Ivory like window just over on the side of the screen and I'll just have it like live updating so I'll see everything as it comes in, but maybe a younger me would have enjoyed that more. But as I get older, I don't need to see the live feed of every piece of data coming in. That's a distraction to me. So yeah, so I like going to it when I want to go to it and then not. But yeah, for everything, like I do Instagram. There's no Mac app, obviously, but like I'll see Instagram posts in my browser. I'll do Mastodon in my browser. Everything's in the browser. Like I think I pay for Ivory's tier that like gives me access to the Mac app as well. I just don't use it because I like the web on the Mac. So yeah, I fully endorse moving it to the browser.
Awesome. Well, I recommend people check it out. And since like it's fully open source and it's basically developed by one guy, like if you like it, and I think I'm going to do that once once I can, I will donate to the project. I think it should be able to keep going for as long as possible.
Nice. Yeah, I think it's completely non-monetized in
Yeah.
its current form. So
Yeah, just go to phanpy.social. You log in, works, and never asks for anything. It's pretty cool.
Yeah.
The important thing as well is one just doesn't have anything to do with this, but I'm reminded of it. It's a cool feature in Phanpy is that when you open a thread on a remote server, you know how Mastodon currently, even though that's being fixed by the Mastodon team, currently when you open a thread on a remote server, you won't see all the replies. And that's because the way federation works, because your own server doesn't necessarily have all the information, doesn't know everything that's going on other servers. So you won't be able to see all the replies in a very popular thread, for example. Phanpy, when you open a remote thread, oftentimes when you notice that the reply count doesn't something like that, I believe the logic is when you notices that the reply count isn't matching the amount of replies that it's actually got, it will show you remote replies. Like it will show you replies fetched from the original server where it's published, if that makes sense. So you will see all the replies, basically.
Love that.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Love that.
Yeah, it's a cool feature. And you notice when it does that because it will give you a little banner to say this is viewing from a remote server, and you can switch to your own server. There's a button so you can interact with the thread.
Yeah, that's rad. I think Mona has something like that on iOS as well. But yeah, this is the thing I noticed. We don't need to get into it, but like I was on a personal Mastodon server for the past like 2.5 years, and I moved back to Mastodon.social. And the biggest thing that I've noticed since making the move is how much more lively the comments are on posts. Because like I would find like a viral post that presumably has thousands of likes and hundreds of replies, And in my app, it would say one person has boosted it and nobody said anything about it. And so it's just kind of in like my own little bubble of I have no idea how popular this is, which is kind of cool in its own way. But
Yeah, I actually installed something on because I'm running my own server. Like I installed it manually. I put my hands into the depths of Linux to install it manually and maintain manually because I'm developing Tangerine UI. So that's what I've had to do. And I've installed a script that's called Fetcher, which Mastodon admins can install on their servers, and that it's a script that will fetch manually all the replies. So I've not had this issue for a while, but when I did have it, yeah, that was painful.
yeah.
Nice. Well, this is cool,
Yes.
but I think we need to get to our challenge.
Yes.
And it was my challenge this week, and I wanted you all to do something interesting with widgets. And in parentheses, so it says widget or widgets. And I left it pretty open-ended. You could do it on any platform. Doesn't need to be Apple-specific. It could be the terminal. You can make a physical one. It could be one widget. It could be multiple widgets. Just have fun with widgets. Fun with widgets. That's the thing. So you guys mind if I go first?
Please.
Yes. No, I don't mind.
You guys can click on, in the document, you can click on mine, and there's a link in there. But I built a launcher for a bunch of different documents I used often in Obsidian. So I use the app Widgets for Obsidian, which uses the URI extension as a part of Obsidian, so you can do things like open documents and stuff like that. So I have in here options to open up my daily note, my iPadOS 26 script, my iPadOS 26 notes document, where I'm like taking all the little text snippets I'm saving that from that Capture Cut update that I talked about with Matt. So all those text snippets and stuff are getting put in here. My iOS 26 script, my iOS 26 notes, and my Launchpad document. So I have a bunch of different things in here that I can just open quickly right from the home screen. And this has been really useful this week. I've really liked it. But I did take it a step further, and I used the advanced URI extension to create an option in here so that it takes whatever is on my clipboard and it appends it to my daily note. And this has been fantastic for text snippets I need to save just really quickly. I've been dealing with health insurance thing, and I needed to save some information, and I just boom hit this button right there, and it saved it to my daily note. I knew where it was going to be. I knew where it was at. It was perfect for this kind of thing. Yeah, so that's kind of what I did. I originally was going to do something with Terminal, but I realized the way my Terminal is set up is perfect right now, and I didn't want to mess with it. So I was like, okay, let's play around with something else. And I've had Widgets for Obsidian installed on my iPad for a long time now, but I've never done anything with it. So I dug into that. I dug into the URI documentation, and I was like, okay, let's have some fun with this. And yeah, that's kind of what I did. And this has been a really useful widget for me this week, and probably for the rest of the summer, especially, just being able to quickly jump into these notes documents about the OS updates and put text in there, or be able to jump in there, write a little bit of my script, because honestly, that's how these videos get written over the summer. Is I will okay, I've got 20 minutes, let's jump in here, let's write a couple of, sections, or write a section, or a bit about, window management or something like that. And that's how these videos get written over the summer.
Those icons, you remember what they are?
Yeah, I do wish widgets for Obsidian would have text labels, but I do know what each one of those are.
Oh,
and
okay, so that's a widget provided by Obsidian. So that
no. Okay, so there is a I should have clarified this.
Okay,
there is another third-party app that's called Widgets for Obsidian. That is the name of the app.
Oh, okay.
I should have clarified. I'm sorry. Obsidian does not have any iOS or iPadOS widgets at all. This is a separate app, and you have to go in and use the URI scheme, which is basically just like X callback URLs, very similar to that. And you put in the URI or URL of what you want. So it's I can open one up right here. So it's Widgets for Obsidian. Because I don't remember what they are off the top of my head. So it is exactly an X callback URL. So it's obsidian : / open vault equals. Then you put in your vault name, and then it's and that ampersand and file equals, and then you put the file, and that'll open a specific file in your Obsidian vault. So that's widgets for Obsidian. It also has a quick notes feature as well. So you can set up the ability to quickly write a note, but I have my CaptureCut shortcut that does that for me, so I don't really mess with that. Niléane, what did you do?
Oh, is it my turn? Okay.
It is your turn. What'd you do?
Matt to...
Okay. He's last in the document.
Yeah. I'll go last.
So we're following the document. So my thing is very fun. You said something interesting with widgets. It's so interesting what I did.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I fixed a bug.
Okay, all right. So, very interesting so far.
About 3 years ago, I checked actually in the Feedback Assistant app. I filed the feedback to Apple. I should have written down the title of the feedback I had used. But basically, there was this thing where in Apple Weather, now it's able, and it's been able for years, to show you weather alerts for your area. So governmental issued weather alerts. And these have been working in France. However, Apple is using something called Meteo Alarm, which is like a European service for weather alerts. And it's not great because the text that the text that shows up when there's a weather alert currently ongoing in my area, it doesn't make any sense. It's a bunch of like not very understandable thing. So, for example, and I'm really sad because right now the weather alert is gone. We had one just running until a few hours ago, and it's gone, so I can't show you. But basically, over the weekend there have been some thunderstorms in the area, so we had an alert going on, a level 2 alert going on for the thunderstorm. And the thing is, in France, it's very easy, like the grading. I mean, very easy. It's something we're used to. It's basically colors. And I've put the link in the show notes if you want to click on that. It shows you the official website for weather alerts in France. And shows you the current weather alert. So right now, as we're looking at it, about a third of northern and eastern France is on yellow alert for what is it for? For thunderstorms. And that's just the third level. The second level is orange. And that's what we were out at my place over the weekend. And the most grave alert is red. So that's really easy. Green, yellow, orange, or red. And orange is when things get a bit intense, right? So if there's a yellow alert for thunderstorms, okay, you will hear some lightning strikes, but it's going to be okay. If it's orange, you should be careful because it means there's going to be quite a bit of wind and maybe some flooding. You should be really careful. It's an important level of alert. And when that level is triggered, Apple Weather is so bad at it. It shows you something that doesn't make any sense. And my feedback at the time was it should just say the color. Like the color that every French person in the country knows. Orange, green, yellow, orange, or red. And Apple kind of fixed it in iOS 26, but you have to work around it. So the thing is, in my case, I'm using my devices in English. And out of the blue, I noticed that if I set my device in French, it shows you the correct wording, like the French wording with the correct colors. So they fixed my feedback from 3 years ago, but only if your phone is in French.
Oh.
And so my very interesting thing that I did with widget this week is I have on all my devices, which is a grand total of 2 right now, I have set the weather app into French specifically because you can do that
nice.
in system settings on a Mac and in the settings app on iOS. You can change the language for a specific app, and you can do that with built-in apps as well. So you can do that with the weather apps. And when you do that, it affects the widgets on your home screen and on your desktop for the Mac. And now it's so good. Now, when there's an orange alert going on, the widget actually says orange, and it says what it's for. It says thunderstorms, and that's nice. That's what I've done. It's really nice.
Nice. That's cool. It's nice that you're able to fix an issue.
Yeah. And my suggestion to Apple would be go all the way. It should apply to all the languages. Because, I mean, if you are in the shoes of an American tourist in France and you look up weather alerts, you will see the weather alerts that every French person knows, yellow, orange, or red. You will not see the garbage that shows up in the weather app. Basically, it says like violent thunderstorms warning. It says something really garbled up that doesn't make any sense. That's really not specific and not helpful when you're showing up and when you're showing a weather alert in a widget prominently.
Nice.
Yeah.
Matt, what did you do for the challenge?
Well, what I did
Oh,
was...
no. He's taking off his headphones.
Why? What's going on?
Why is he taking...
Oh, no. He's putting
did the
on the
thing.
B headset.
He put on the Vision Pro.
Just a normal guy over here.
Yeah.
Oh, it sounds very weird.
Is it off
Oh
right
my
now? So, like, you
gosh.
can't see?
No,
Nope,
it's
it's on. He's
on.
pinching.
I can see the infrared blinking.
It's on, but it's like processing the sound around me the way it does with the speakers, but my headphones are also on, so I'm like hearing myself like 3 times. I'm going to take the headset off.
Yeah, because it's probably echoing
Oh.
into your mic, too. So that's going to be fun to edit.
Okay, I'm back.
Okay.
That was fun.
So, it was horrifying for me. I don't want. I felt like I
Well,
went into another world.
What you didn't hear when you took your headphones off is I realized if it's coming out of the speakers on Vision Pro, it's going into your mic, so it's going to be echoing in there.
Oh, it might. Okay, apologies to everybody for that funny
Leave it
gag.
in. Should be fun. Yeah.
So what I did was I dusted off the old Vision Pro and I put it on and put some widgets in my walls. Did some construction work. So I figured I'd give the new Vision OS 26 widgets a go. The new quirk that they have, or I guess they didn't really exist before, but like the quirk that they have is that if you you can move them around in 3D space, just like any other window in Vision OS. But once you get close to a wall, it kind of just like sucks onto it and it gets stuck.
That's cool.
It's pretty
Wow.
cool.
You did that with your mouth?
That was the widget sound effect. That was
That was really
using
well
the
done.
soundboard. It's pretty cool. So, I mean, it's basically just system apps right now, of course, because we're in the beta and no one can release any apps to do anything else. But basically the setup that I created for myself in my office is I have the weather. No, sorry. The weather's up in that corner next to the window. So it's kind of in the wall right by the window. So when I'm looking out the window, I can see what the temperature is and I guess the conditions, although I can just see as well, but it's there.
Show me where it is. Where it is?
It's right there. You should be able to see
Right
it.
there. I can't.
Yeah,
see
yeah.
it.
Just you.
It's just Stitch.
I
For
don't.
me.
It's
just
right there.
Stitch.
I don't know what you're not seeing.
Okay.
I've got the clock up there, so there's over your other shoulder,
Yeah.
and then I
Can't see
have
it.
the music widget. So I actually have this one. This one's kind of fun. I have it like on top of a framed poster I already have on the wall, so I kind of like lined it up perfectly, so it's kind of inside a physical frame as well. That's
That's
pretty
cool.
But you can hook up like specific playlists. So I have it hooked up to my favorites playlist, which refreshes every week on Apple Music, and so I can just look over at it and I can pinch and it starts playing that playlist, which is cool. So I thought they were they're pretty rad. As with all things Vision Pro, I don't know if I'm going to use them, but they did them in a very cool way, and they are persistent when you like take the headset off and put it back on again later. Those widgets are still there, so they're doing all the right things. It's they're pretty cool, and yeah, the ability to kind of like put frames around them, or to have it like you can like have it sink into the wall, so it looks like it's like recessed,
Kind of embedded.
Yeah, like that. It's cool. Like it's a very cool thing, and it's pretty convincing when you just kind of have it in the world and you just look over at it. It feels pretty realistic. So maybe in 20 years this will be something really mainstream and make a lot of sense. But yeah, I feel the same way about this as I do for basically everything in Vision OS. Whoever's working on it is doing such a good job implementing all these things. I just don't think I'll use them myself, but I'll keep trying every year.
Yeah.
Do they did they fix the thing where if you go in another room, like it's secluded by the walls? Like,
So they're supposed to be persistent now, where they stay in place even after Vision OS is rebooted. It's kind of like the iPad OS windowing system. Is that true, Matt?
I haven't rebooted the system to tell, but when I put the headset back on just after not using it for a few days, they do stick around. So I was able to see them like when I kind of put it on just now.
you leave the room.
I haven't tested that yet, because that is a weird thing with Windows, where like sometimes I'll be like watching a movie in my living room, and then I go to the kitchen and like the movie's still like just playing in the same spot, but doesn't understand there's a wall in between, so I still see like the back side of the screen. So I haven't tested that. I could check it out. But it would be cool if they did occlude that, because like it goes like behind your hands, right? Like it understands your hands should be in front of things or behind things. So you would think it would. There's like a trillion LiDAR lasers going on with this thing. Surely some of them could figure out that there's a wall.
Yeah.
Nice. That's cool. I need to play around with these. I have not really touched Vision Pro over the summer that much, so I need to play around with these.
You're busy. You got an iPad review to do this year. You had nothing last year. You had an easy summer last year. Well,
I had a very hard summer last year. I had a very rough summer, rough fall, rough winter.
But now
I'm
you have
so
everything to
excited.
talk about. So many
I'm
iPad
so
things.
excited for September. I'm so excited for September. All right. Well, I think we did a great job with this challenge. Very different approaches, so I like it. Matt, it is your challenge. What do you got for us this week?
I have a challenge I'm going to paste in as soon as I'm done saying it.
Okay.
So this is a bring something challenge. So I'd like you to bring your unpopular tech takes. Two of them. One where something is better than you think most people say it is, and one thing that is worse than most people say it is. And this is in reference to our tech circles, not necessarily the mainstream. So,
okay, I like this.
Yeah, what's one thing that you think is better than most people say it is, and what's one thing you think is worse than most people say it is?
I like this. This is going to be a thinker for this week. I'm going to really have to think on this. I like this challenge.
Oh my god,
you
just pasted in the prompt. So long. Okay. One thing, this is in reference to our tech circles, not the public. Okay, I agree with this prompt.
I want things that make us different from the circles we tend to hang out in.
All right. Well, that is going to be a fun challenge. We did just lose Matt. For video viewers, you probably just noticed Matt disappeared. He
faded away.
He's a real business boy. He has a real job. You know, he actually has stuff he has to do, and we went a little bit long.
Or maybe Thanos snapped his fingers.
Oh. Well, I mean, we left the two good hosts, so I think the show will be fine. Hey, he's not here to defend himself. No, anyways, he just had to go for a work thing. But Niléane, this is normally when we would wrap up the show and I'd have an end of the show question for you guys. But instead, you have something you want to talk about, and I'll just let you take it away.
Yeah, like I said, the podcast has been running for like over a year. And through the course of that, I've said it multiple times, I do not want us to exist in a bubble, like this platform to exist in a bubble. And terrible things are happening. And this is why I mentioned things before, like the recent ruling of the Supreme Court in the UK about trans people, trans women specifically, and many other topics that we had the occasion to mention. And like right now, I'm particularly affected by, and I know that you are as well as Matt, affected by what's happening in Gaza. That these atrocities are still ongoing. And as we're speaking right now, Israel just launched another attack. The government of Israel just launched another attack, leading to so many deaths. And starvation is unfortunately very prevalent right now in Gaza. So I just want to take the time just to call on people to, if you're listening to this, do something. And that can be as small as speaking up, calling up your representative if you think they can have a voice in parliament or whatever, to stand up for what's right and to call for this to stop as soon as possible. This should have stopped from. This should have never happened, and this should have stopped so many so many months, years ago. And yeah, but unfortunately, people are still starving, and which is why I want to call. Yeah, do something. Speak up, call your representative, and one thing you can do as well is donate. There are fundraisers out there where you can donate to Palestinian families, people, to help them like keep going, because most Palestinians living in Gaza don't have a job anymore, and if they do, they can't exercise it correctly, and they can't get to food, obviously, because humanitarian aid is not coming in anymore, which is atrocious. So yeah, we will have in the show notes a link to a fundraiser where you can support families in Gaza. But yeah, so you can choose that to donate to that if you want. Those people are this fundraiser is run by people that we trust, but of course, just donate to whatever seems like you think is helping. And I want to call out as well the Freedom Flotilla, which is an initiative that helps show to the world that Israel, the government of Israel, is still blocking humanitarian aid from entering the Strip of Gaza. And what they do is they launch ships with very important people on them. So recently, for example, European Deputy Rima Hassan, as well as Greta Thunberg and other activists from around the world, sailed to Gaza, and they could not reach Gaza because Israel intercepted their ship and had them retained, and they intercepted them. They arrested them in international water. So once again, this has been able to prove that they are not respecting international law in any way. And right now, the Freedom Flotilla has launched yet another ship aimed to prove once again that this is still happening. It has Emma Fourreau, a French MEP, member of European Parliament, on board as well, and that's ongoing. So keep an eye on that if you can. There you go. So there's a link in the show notes if you want to donate, and you don't have time to search for a fundraiser. You can donate to that one. But I encourage you all to search, look up other fundraisers that you may be able to support and call up on your representatives.
Yeah. Well, a couple things I want to point out. You know the person that kind of put this fundraiser that we're linking to in the show notes together, so it is vetted. Unfortunately, not every fundraiser on the internet is on the up and up, but this one is. And it's fairly easy to kind of look into and see what is on the up and up.
Yeah, it has links that you can you can look up who are running this one specifically, and most fundraisers that you will be able to easily find online, they will have things that you can help you see that they are vetted and trusting, that you can trust them. But yeah, be careful.
Yeah, that's really important. And then the other thing is, obviously I agree with everything Niléane said. Matt also wanted us to point out he completely agrees. He did not duck out because he didn't agree with this. He literally did have to go for his day job.
He actually has a job.
Yeah, he actually has a job. Unlike me, he actually has a job. He actually had to be somewhere, and we just went a little long. But he wanted us to highlight he does agree. He didn't just leave because of this. It's no one should have to starve. I can't believe that's something I have to say in 2026, but no one should have to starve. Whether it's, something in Gaza or, something that's really near and dear to me is, kids in schools getting free school lunches. That's something that's really important to me. That because without getting into it, I have seen what some kids have gone through without being able to, eat regularly 3 square meals a day. And the fact that some people are against the idea of, low-income kids being able, or kids from low-income families being able to get a free meal or 2 free meals at school is ridiculous to me. That's absolutely... So anyways, my point is no one should have to starve, wherever you are in the world. No one should have to starve. So if you have the means, please take a look. That would mean a lot to us. We don't ask for much, but if we can just help in a little way, that would mean a lot.
Yeah, and if you can't contribute, you can share. That helps a ton as well.
Yeah, absolutely. On that note, I guess we wrap up the podcast.
Yeah.
There's not really a good smooth transition from something like that, so I'm just going to do it. Thank you all so much for listening. Niléane, is there anything you want to promote you have coming out in the coming weeks?
None right now. It's a slow period for now. I'm working a ton with To Defam, the organization I preside now. So we're actually hiring employees very soon.
Ooh,
Yeah,
exciting!
Exciting because we got funding, so we can hire people.
Nice.
So that's going to help me hold me up this summer. But nothing in particular except I posted some animated GIFs on Mastodon using the 5x lens of the iPhone, and I thought they turned out pretty good. So if you want to go see those GIFs.
GIFs. It's GIFs.
Yes, the
GIFs.
GIFs. Yeah.
GIF is peanut butter. Anyways.
That's what I said. The GIFs.
GIF is peanut butter. All right. Well, I will have some videos out, I swear. I've kind of been waiting on the public beta to come out. Whenever that comes out, I will have some videos and stuff, and I should have something out before then too. So, I will have videos on the channel. Huge thank you to Mac Stories for having us. We are a Mac Stories podcast after all. Go check out all the writings and podcasts and stuff going on there. Thank you all so much for listening. Have a great day.
Bye-bye.